Well, it's been a while. It's been quite the while. Um, the unexcused leave of absence, but I'm back, better than ever. Yankees. Uh, this is actually like my third take, because I ran out of disk space on my computer. So and this whole app wasn't working that I use. I'm using my phone for a webcam right now. So I don't. This is a lot. There's a lot that happened. So many things trying to keep me back, but I'm back. I'm up. Okay. So Yankees. What happened? Well, if you haven't been living under a rock, Juan Soto has been signed to a 15-year, $650 million contract for the New York Metropolitans. Now the Mets, they outbid us. And it was a good thing. The Mets, I guarantee you, they're not gonna be good. They're not gonna be good. They're not. Okay. Man, we don't need Juan Soto. We don't need him. Number one, Juan Soto seems a bit. He has too much of an ego. I don't like him. I liked him when he was a Yankee. He seemed like a nice guy as a Yankee, but I didn't know. It's just like he puts on. It's for the cameras. He deep down inside, he's really I don't like him. But he signed a 15-year, $650 million option. Oh no, not 600. Sorry, $750 million contract with the New York Mets. That could turn into $800 if they go that route. I think 5 years into his contract, they can have an option to raise his AAV to $55 instead of $50 a year. So there's no deferred money there. So they're not doing what the Dodgers did, where they defer like 100% of the contract, and then the player actually is homeless for the entire regular season that they play their contract. Either way, what did the Yankees do? Well, they signed a good lefty, the biggest contract ever given out to a left-handed pitcher in not Yankee history, in baseball history, to Max Fried. Max Fried had a pretty good year last year. He's a little bit injury prone, but he's a really good pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, and you gotta take your risks, okay? So now the rotation consists of Cole, Fried, Rodon, Heel, and Schmidt. So that's a pretty good rotation, if you ask me. And then Stroman looking from the outside in. We did have to get rid of Nasty Nestor, but that's for a later topic and later on in this video. So then the Yankees got first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Paul Goldschmidt played for the National League. He was a pretty good first baseman 2 years ago, surprisingly, and he's 37 now. And he had a pretty good year last year. A lot of people are like, "Oh, he sucks. No, he had a pretty good year. He had a pretty good end to his year. So the beginning of the year he started off slow, but at the end of the year he got back on his feet. Now that was the end of the year. Now we're going to a new year. So I'm not sure for the American League, the defending American League champions, New York Yankees, if he's a good fit. I think he's good because he's a good veteran presence. And we had Rizzo before, and Rizzo was a good veteran presence. And I think this guy's gonna be a good veteran presence. We signed him to a 1-year contract, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if everyone is saying what I'm thinking they're saying, they're probably saving their money and going for it, not trying to get signed a long-term contract for a first baseman until they get to this Japanese guy coming out of Japan. And he's going to have pretty good options because he had a year where he hit 58 home runs, but then every year after that, he's hit like 30, around that mark. So I think that 58 year was a fluke. Not like, he's not a bad player, but he's a bit of a fluke. And might remind you that Japanese position players, they haven't like converted to the major leagues like the pitchers. Like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Yu Darvish, I mean, even going back, Hideki Irabu, Masahiro Tanaka, they all kind of translate into the major leagues pretty well. Osata Imanaga for the Cubs now. But the position players haven't. We have seen Hassan Kim, who wasn't Japanese, he was actually Korean. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this new guy. Hopefully he converts to the major leagues. I think he will. I think he's a good talent. So we'll see what happens when that happens. But for right now, Paul Goldschmidt's our first baseman. Now, we also traded for Cody Bellinger. And Cody Bellinger, he's a pretty good player. He was a really good player his last year with the Dodgers, and then he was an okay player last year. He was good enough. And I think he could get better. His swing, good lefty, center fielder, great defender. He has a good swing. I think this could work for the Bronx. I think that the short porch could really help him out there, sneak in a couple more homers. But then after Cody, I was talking about the outfield. Okay, so Aaron Boone spoke and he said that the outfield is going to look like this: Aaron Judge in right, Cody Bellinger in center, Jason Dominguez in left. So Jason Dominguez, the Martian, he's going to be playing left. So I think Jason's going to be great. I already have a jersey. That's how confident I am. He's going to be great. He's going to be phenomenal. So I'm so certain that Jason Dominguez is going to be a star. And I think they're putting him in left so they could save center for Spencer Jones, who, if he has a pretty good year this year, he's probably going to start next year. So we'll see. But let's look at the infield. We were talking about Paul Goldschmidt. Second base is going to be Jazz Chisholm. Volpe is short. And third base is a bit of a question. A lot of people are like, oh, let's sign Bregman. Let's go sign Bregman. Number one, I don't want Bregman. Okay? I don't want him. He's a cheater. He was with the Astros. Don't want him. Number one. Number two, do you really want to sign Bregman when you have good talent in your own farm system? Like, let's look at this. Peraza, Cabrera, LeMahieu. I mean, LeMahieu's not. I don't think. Look, LeMahieu, I think, could go back to his old LeMahieu, but I'm not sure about LeMahieu. It's mainly going to be between Cabrera and Peraza, and I hope Peraza wins just because I really like Peraza. I think he has talent. He's a good player. So I want Peraza to win that position battle. Cabrera, I really like him. LeMahieu, I really do like him still. It's just like he sucks. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Catcher, we have Wells, and I don't know who's going to be the backup catcher to Wells. If he's going to be anywhere as good as Wells. Because the Yankees do like to platoon their catchers. So I really hope that Wells, or whoever they get to replace Wells, is good. And you might be wondering, what happened to Jose? Well, Jose got traded. And we got Fernando Cruz. Good pitcher. He had a pretty high ERA, but high strikeout percentage, so maybe, they could do something like that, like how they did with Mark Leiter. Then we have the big trade that we had to get rid of Nasty Nestor for, which is Devin Williams. I mean, he is a great reliever. Okay, he could be the closer, and we have a good setup man, Luke Weaver. So, Weaver, we could do Hill, Weaver, and Williams. I mean, that's a good lineup right there for relievers. The Airbender is now wearing pinstripes. So, and speaking of Hill, we just re-signed Tim Hill. This is pretty recent. So, I'm happy for this Yankee roster. I definitely think they're better that they didn't re-sign Juan Soto. May I remind you, number one, let's talk about Juan Soto for a second. Juan Soto, he didn't even talk to any of his Yankee teammates after the World Series. A lot of people were asking, hey, why didn't you talk to any of your teammates? Hey, have you talked to any of your teammates? Then it got revealed later that he changed his phone number. Changed it. So, shows what teammate he is. Mind you, he was speaking to Francisco Lindor the entire offseason. So, hey, look, you have fun with Lindor, okay? I mean, no, come on. Like, those are your teammates. You just spent a year with them. I mean, it might remind you, he had his best year because of Aaron Judge. No one wants to pitch to Judge. Judge is a better player than Juan Soto. Juan Soto, he can't field, he can't run the bases. He's all bat. Aaron Judge, he's bat, power, field, bases. I mean, he's literally a 5-star player. He's the perfect player. I mean, just the disrespect. And then he also wanted a suite. Apparently, there was this thing with his family at Yankee Stadium. Whatever. Smokes and mirrors. He did it for the money. He did it because he wanted to be a Met. There you go. Just said it right there in 2 words. Money, Met. That's it. He didn't want to. It's not because he wanted this, he wanted that. There's something else. Whatever. No. The Mets gave him more money. Therefore, he went to the Mets. It's not rocket science. Like, people are trying to put a story to this. No, more money equals Met. More money. If the Yankees gave him more money, that would have been Yankee. He would have been a Yankee. If the Rangers were to give him 12 million, no, not 12 million, a billion, 1.2 billion. Okay, if the Rangers were to give him 1.2 billion, if the White Sox were to give him $1 billion, he would have been a White Sox right now. He would have been a White Sox. So it's the money. It's all about the money. We don't see it a lot. We see it a lot, I'm gonna say, but we don't see the loyal players like Judge. Judge, he could have been a Padre. He could have went back to his hometown, but he's still with the Yankees because he wanted to be a Yankee. And he's still getting paid good money. And you look at that Judge contract now, and you think, wow, that's a steal. $300 million? For Aaron Judge? I mean, Jesus. That's a great contract. That's a great contract. You're going to have Judge for the rest of his career. Sadly, Judge didn't start out as early as Soto because, man, Judge could have really been something. But he's still going to be something, trust me. But let's talk baseball. Roki Sasaki did not sign with the Yankees. No. He's out with the Dodgers. As everyone expected, to be honest. I mean, it's the Dodgers. They get every Japanese player on the planet, and it's a lot of people like, oh, they need to do something about this salary cap, whatever. No, okay. Number one, there's cheap owners: the A's, the Rays, the White Sox, even the Guardians to an extent, maybe even the Orioles now. Like, they don't even try to put money into the organization. They just literally pocket the money. This offseason, you've seen the A's actually do something. You want to know why? Because they're going to get sued. They're going to get sued because they don't spend enough money. They're just pocketing all the money. So it's an owner problem, okay? I think it's a little bit of both. The owners and the players. I meant owners and the players. Owners and just the system. But the owners primarily, I think. So maybe a salary floor that needs to be put into conversation. So the Dodgers get everyone. I'm not scared of the Mets. The Mets have no pitching, and Soto has no protection. That lineup doesn't scare me. So, but Yankees lineup. I mean, they're clearly the best team in the American League. No one's gonna beat them. No one's gonna beat them. I guarantee you, some of these players that were there last year, even like Volpe, Chisholm, Judge, especially. I mean, this is a completely new team. Might I remind you, this team is going to be completely different if they won the World Series or lost it. Because there are just a lot of people who are on one-year contracts rather than the last year of the contract. We lost Torres. Torres is with Detroit. Canley is with Detroit. We lost Verdugo. We lost Rizzo. And so, I mean, Verdugo was a starting left fielder. Rizzo was a starting first baseman. We lost 2 starters right there. We lost 3 because we lost Torres. So that's already almost the entire infield gone because we never even had a third baseman. We didn't have a third baseman. Chisholm is the second baseman. We didn't have a third baseman last year. So we didn't have a third baseman. We barely had a first baseman, to be honest. So it was and our left fielder had no bat. I mean, he was a pretty good fielder, but no bat. So I hope spring training puts Jason into good shape for left field because he really needs it. He really needs it. I think a full year, Jason's going to be great. He's going to be great. Because he better be great because we don't have another option. So, Jason better be great. I think I think Bellinger's going to be good. I just think there's a more balanced lineup, because last year it was more top heavy. You look at the lineup, you see, damn, you got to go against Torres, Soto, Judge. I mean, that's a crazy lineup right there. That Stanton, playoff Stanton, that was crazy. But then after that, I mean, you weren't really scared of Verdugo. I mean, Chisholm, he tailed off by the end. Wells, Volpe especially. Volpe actually kind of, he burnt up at the end. He got hot, but, for the year, Volpe wasn't really that good. He kind of regressed, so we'll see what happens. I think Volpe's going to have his breakout year this year. I really do. I think Chisholm is going to have a breakout year. Whoever plays third base, I hope it's good. Goldschmidt's a good player. I'm not scared about anything. I'm not. Have a good rotation. We're going to try to get rid of Stroman because he unfollowed the Yankees off Instagram. That's a no-no. You don't unfollow the Yankees if the Yankees unfollow you. Okay? That's not how that works. So, Stroman's got to go. I never really liked him to begin with, to be honest. So, he's not a good pitcher. To be honest, he's not a good pitcher. He has no velocity. He has to be pinpoint accurate every time he pitches, which is impossible. So, he's going to get hit around some days. So, first video back, think it was a pretty good one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that. I'm the Yankees nerd signing out.